Hi, this is Brad Willis. I'm the moderator of the MetalStorm fan group. We're located on Facebook at www.facebook.com/groups/MetalStorm fan group. It's an excellent place to get to know some of your fellow MetalStorm players, pick up some tips, some techniques, and maybe share a few of your own. So we're going to do a couple things. It is going to be a new plane review, a new plane for me anyway, the X-23, which is kind of the stealth-looking spaceship thing, but Nightwing. But before we start, we're going to talk a little about some of the stats, because I think that's something that some players don't understand. There's some that are obvious and some that are not so obvious. So let's kind of go through them, and we'll spend a little more time on the not so obvious, and it's more benefit to the newer players, I suppose, but it's good to refresh. So offensive stats, damage is obvious. With that boost, you get more damage. Critical strike, what does that do? It doubles the missile's damage, and the higher the boost, the more likely you are to do that. Double damage, and double damage is a big deal. So critical strike is important. Missile reload, pretty obvious. How fast do you reload? How fast can you get another shot off, right? Again, for some planes, that's a pretty big deal. Missile tracking, how well does it track? We know that the different missiles track differently. Well, if you have a missile tracking boost, whatever you're using will track a little bit better. Lock range, can you hit them from a distance? Well, maybe when they can't hit you, right? If you can lock on them and they cannot lock on you, obviously advantage there, but that only is a benefit from a farther distance, not really in a dogfight. Lock speed, that is a benefit for any distance. I mean, if you're in a dogfight, the guy's close, all of a sudden you get a lock on him, he can't lock on you, hey, there you have a definite advantage. So that's an important stat. Overhear limit, which is really should be overheat limit, pretty obvious. How long do you fire your cannons before they lock up and overheat? Cannon damage, obvious. How much damage do your cannons do? Right? Agility, speed, obvious. Agility, pretty obvious. Energy, you know the energy bar on the left-hand side. That to me is a very important stat because I tend to maneuver a lot. So I need energy, and I prefer a plane with an energy boost, although some don't have it. What can you say? I still do, I guess, Sky Demon quite a bit. Doesn't have an energy boost, but especially with agility, I have to maneuver a lot, and I need that energy. Evasion. Okay, so how effective your maneuvers are at actually evading getting hit, right? So that's evasion. Defensive tactics, damage resistance, fairly obvious. When you do get hit, how much damage do you receive? Armor determines total damage you can take, so you'll be able to take a little bit more before you explode. Stealth is one that's a little confusing, and the plane that we're going to review does have a stealth boost. Increases the distance required for enemies to lock onto you with missiles, and then it says this is negated by your opponent's lock range stat. So he has to lock on. If you have stealth, he's not. I was distracted for a minute because I saw that the B-52s are going on sale, and I'm probably going to go. But anyway, with stealth, he is going to not be able to lock on you quite so quickly. Okay, so perhaps again you can lock on him. He can't quite lock on you, and that's going to give you an advantage. And again, it says it's negated by opponent's lock range stat. So if he has a lock range stat, you have stealth. That just evens anything out, just like it's two normal planes. If he has a lock range stat, he'll lock on a little quicker. Again, your stealth is going to negate that. Armor regeneration. This plane has no boost and very minimal armor regeneration. For defense class, that's a big deal. Some of you have played those Green Eagles that just regenerate like crazy. And even things like the Red Dragon, they do have like a +5 regeneration. This doesn't have much. But that's nice to have, and it doesn't have it, and that's a problem. So, we've talked about stats. So enough of that. Let's actually get into the game here. And we're going to play a game with this thing, and we're probably going to lose because it is it's like flying a cool-looking bus. But let's talk a little about it, and then let's play. X-23 Nightwing, defense class. Now, as you probably know, defense class is typically not suited for dogfights. It's not suited for one-on-one combat. It just doesn't have the maneuverability. It looks like it should. It doesn't. And but here are the statistics on the thing. +14 stealth. So it's going to be a little harder for somebody to lock onto me. +10 lock range. I can lock onto them a little quicker. That presumes that you've got some distance, which again is tough because again, once these guys get in the dogfight with you, that's going to be hard for you to counter that. A little agility helps, but it don't have much. It's a defense class plane, so even a +10 doesn't do you a lot of good. Does you a little good. +12 damage resistance. You're going to need it because you're going to get hit a lot with this thing. Okay, again, it's a bus. It's a cool-looking bus, but it is a bus. So with all that in mind, why don't we play a game? I am using coin weapons. because I need to. I also want to caution you that I'm very rusty. I haven't played much lately, so if I do some ridiculous backflips or stupid maneuvers or miss the fire button on missiles, there's a good reason for that. So I would think someone would see this and want to play my Nightwing, because I would be drooling. When I see Nightwings, I drool, because I know I'm probably going to cream them. I just know they don't have the agility. They just flat out don't. We're having a little bit of a hard time getting a match, but I think we probably will. There's got to be some taker on my X-23 Nightwing. Give them an easy win. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Hard to say. We'll do this a few more times. Hopefully we'll get one. And, usually when you're not getting, you probably already know this, but if you're not getting an opponent, just hit cancel, try it again. Okay, so this is going to be a little tough. We got we got an SD here that we're going to play. My only hope really is to get him from a distance. And I'm going to do a very good job on the cannon there. Let's see. Well, that's a problem. So Sky Demon's a very good plane. He's got agility. I don't, and I've got a problem. So I'm going to come around on him. Again, my whole thing is to try to get a shot on him. I really didn't do a very good job, candidly, when we opened up. I had more shots than I really took, and he's got some damage on him. You can see I got more probably, and I'm just trying to put myself in a position where I can get a shot on him, and he can't get much on me. We'll just kind of come around. Let's see if we got a shot on him. There we did. Good. Yeah, we got him. I don't know if I got him. I got to get quick target acquisition. He's probably going to blow me up. You see, I don't have a target here. That's a problem sometimes with the iPad Air. So I'm just going to accelerate. Now remember, I do have a little bit of an advantage. Now I know he's going to blow me up. I'm not even going to really try to evade him. I had such a small amount of life left. I'd rather just try to cannon him and at least get one missile shot. And I'm trying to open it up. I expect him to fire in just a second. Go around, try to evade him. We're going to go ahead and accelerate. All I want to do is just see this guy. I can't do it with this sucker. There he is. Did I get? Oh, I didn't get a shot on him. I missed the fire button. That's a problem I have. We're going to roll. If I see him, I don't. Again, coolest looking bus you'll ever see. Let's do the dog fights. And we're going to go toward the ocean. Try not to crash. I'm just trying to get speed and distance. There he is. Hopefully we'll get a shot on him. I think we did. Well, looks like maybe one missile hit if we were lucky. Again, try not to crash. Come around slow. Spin. Hope he's there. We're just not going to get a shot on him. Build up my energy a little bit. Accelerate. He should be firing here in just a second. We're going to roll. Try to anticipate that. There he was. He didn't get a good shot. Fortunately, we're going to gain some speed toward the ground. 23 seconds. We're coming up. He's firing. There he is. Boom, boom. Did we get him? And I think it probably... No go. We're going to accelerate again. We're going to accelerate hard. At least I have some... I don't like my position at all. I really don't. I don't like my position. I think he's going to hit me. We got 5 seconds left. Give me a shot, buddy. Let's see. There he is. Well, there you go. It wasn't a terrible performance, but it wasn't fantastic either. So... you could see some real limitations of this plane, even with the 10% agility boost. It's just flat out not agile. And I don't know if you paid attention or not, but the regeneration was, very, very minimal. Very, very minimal, So, the only chance you have, again, really to win in this thing is to, get the opponent from a distance, using that lock range, using that extra. You do hit fairly hard, defense class. Another place you could use this plane is in survival mode. I'm not really going to spend any time here, but the plane is actually decent for survival mode, and it can take a bit of a hit. Ideally, if you were going to use defense class, you'd want to use something with a little bit more regeneration. I could see. I'm not going to use up my lancers here on this guy. I'll just go ahead. But you can see that I think for survival it would probably be okay. And again, certainly it is a cool looking plane, but it's just not going to be very useful for most of what you do. Let's just take down one more guy with a cannon here. You can see how big the bullets are coming out of this thing. It blows them up pretty quickly. So I think that's enough. We'll just go crash into the ground here. Just kidding. Okay. Bye-bye. X-23. So we'll go back and wrap it up here. So that is our review on X-23 Nightwing. Interesting plane, not very practical for most people, but some might want to use it for a little of this or that, especially survival. Maybe It actually would take some skill, despite being defense class. Sometimes people say, "Oh, defense class players, if you do combat, if you do a head-to-head, you don't have skill." You actually do have to have some skill to win with this thing because it has such a lack of maneuverability and a lack of regen that I would say a poor player is not going to win in this thing. Okay, but that's your review on the X-23 Nightwing. Interesting plane, not practical for most of us, but it's out there and kind of interesting. Maybe the coolest looking. I think it's cool looking anyway. So if you have any questions or comments, as usual, you can leave them in the remarks section here on YouTube. I do thank you for your time, and we will see you in the skies playing MetalStorm.